Hi class, today I'm going to deliver a topic, psychological learning, which is the assignment of informative speech. So learning certain psychological knowledge can really improve the level of self-esteem, allowing us to better accept the true self, better understand our strengths and weaknesses. So there are three benefits. I'm going to talk about the first benefit, which is to help establish healthy personal boundaries. We are deeply concerned if our personal boundaries are being violated. For instance, when people are very concerned about how much salary we make per month or year, or just a random person ask us where we live, which enables us to be uncomfortable to answer the questions. These things are uncomfortable because our personal boundaries are being violated. Personal boundaries are a very important concept in the field of interpersonal relationships in psychology. So there's so much trouble in life because this is because we have no sense of personal boundaries with other people. For example, common manifestations of unhealthy personal boundaries are giving up one's values or rights in order to please others, or touching a person without asking. So many people have trouble maintaining personal boundaries with people they don't know well, and it's especially difficult in intimate relationships. Sometimes your emphasis on personal boundaries can seem too callous. If you don't define your boundaries, it's easy to create a lot of unnecessary annoyance. For example, the triangulation of family relationships is clearly a conflict between husband and wife. So, and the parents are likely to pull their own children to cope with the conflict. So healthy personal boundaries are those of being responsible for your own emotions and actions, are not being responsible for the emotions and actions of others. It's clear, moderate, flexible, and designed to protect oneself and others, not to control and hurt others. So in order to establish healthy personal boundaries, firstly, we need to know that we have the right to establish our own personal boundaries. So by concisely identifying behaviors that you find unacceptable, so we can make a list of how we feel and how we might respond to them. At the same time, we need to realize that the needs and emotions of others are not necessarily more important than our own. Suffering from is self-esteem and self-love will make our relationships better instead of adapting others. So when boundaries are violated, learning to say no is definitely helpful. So the second benefit is to identify your emotions for better control. Sometimes people feel terrible inside, but we don't know exactly what's wrong with us. Also, don't know how to describe this kind of feeling. This is because our emotional granularity is lower. So, what is emotional granularity? Emotional granularity refers to an individual's ability to distinguish and identify specific feelings. So people with higher emotional granularity are able to label their feelings and their experiences with specific emotional vocabularies. And people with lower emotional granularity often unable to accurately describe or know what they are experiencing. Always use very general words like happy or unhappy. So why is emotional granularity important? The level of emotional granularity directly affects our ability to manage and deal with emotions. People with higher emotional granularity are less likely to be controlled by their emotions. Increasing emotional granularity increase the people's ability to deal with negative emotions. Identifying our emotions and labeling them accurately is the beginning of emotional management. So the last benefit I'm going to talk about is so learning psychological knowledge is to improve the ability of non-integration and deal with life flexibly. So for example, one day you find out a friend of yours who's very innocent, but this good friend stabs you in the back. So when such inconsistencies occur, in addition to the damage caused by the event itself, many people have the doubts about their ability to see others clearly, and may also have a fear of trusting others. So this is because we are used to using reason to understand all these things, eager to be able to logic efforts to reduce various phenomena into a clear and definite cognitive system. So things that happen can be explained by ourselves and make us feel calm and comfortable. So, and like when inconsistency happens, it's easy to slip into cognitive um, uh, dissonance. In the rush to get rid of the anxiety and uneasiness of cognitive dissonance, it's easy to become emotional or to make quick or and absolute conclusion in order to satisfy the cognitive casual connection. So, and the non-integration ability does not exclude the integration ability, nor does it oppose the pursuit of a complete knowledge framework, but advocates like the distinction between the world of learning and the world of the life. As we learned from the Bible, human nature and life are complex. So not as orderly and distinct as we imagine. A person may just blend, good and evil, lazy and hard work, integrity or being mean, in order to complete partially like spiritual formation. They need a discovery of deep and personal spiritual foundation, for example, to understand these traits better. So to sum up, learning psychology can really make us more aware of the complexity of human nature and life, which improves our non-integration ability, so that we don't have to rely too much on a set of fixed and the rigid cognitive system to live, and strive to a more flexible and open attitude towards life. So able to tolerate the contradictions and conflicts of things. So thank you for having me, and have a nice day.